Hi Art Club. Today we're going to be finishing up our sewing. You get to add some fluff and make it a pillow if you want. Alright guys, so as you probably saw, I have all the bags out. Hopefully you have your name on something so that you can get it. If it wasn't in the bag and it wasn't completely obvious that you wanted to keep it, I'm sorry, but I had to throw it away. I can't be going through all that stuff. So anything that you put in the bag is yours. I have needles over here, and I also have thread over here if you need it. Some of you are not doing sewing today or have already finished, and that's okay. I'm just going to give directions to those who want to fill theirs with fluff so that they can finish. So I'm going to go over sewing one more time. Basically, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to sew it all until the very end. I'm going to leave a little bit of space, and then I'm going to fill it with the polyfill. So this is just for Art Club. If you create a pillow, you'll be able to take some of this fluff, put it inside, and then sew that final piece so that it's an actual pillow. Some of your needles are already in the bag. If not, you're free to take one. You may also need some thread. I'm going to go over those expectations now. All right, 3 things you'll need to finish: thread, a piece of cardboard, and a needle. I'll have extra cardboard if you need it, but remember, these needles are notorious for getting lost on the floor. Don't want anyone to stab their foot because they stepped on your needle. So anytime you're not using it, just poke it into the cardboard. That way you always know where it's at. When you are ready, you are going to take the thread, pull it as long as you need. I usually do it the length of my arm. I'm going to do a little bit longer just because I have a really big piece. And then obviously cut the thread where you want it. If you need the big boy, big girl scissors, I will have these out as well. Once you have your thread, now you're going to put it through the eye of the needle. So the eye of the needle is that little hole. Some people like to lick their thread, but if you're just super cool and don't need to lick your thread to get it through, then awesome you. And then pull it through all the way. You might want to untangle your thread a little bit. Pull it until it's about even, and then tie it. I don't care how you tie it. Some people are double tying because the felt, it can sometimes just kind of breeze right through the felt. You do want it to tug and pull when you do start sewing. So I'm going to tie it and then do a double tie. If you're struggling with the tying, here's where you probably want to pay attention. I take my 2 ends, I make an X, then I pull one under the X. Then I take those 2 pieces, and this might be hard to see on camera, and make another X, except now there's a big hole. You're going to go through that hole, pull, and then adjust as needed. And then most people are double tying, which means that they're kind of twirling it around their finger and then pulling it off and pulling the string through that hole, and it makes a really nice knot. That way, when you start, poking it in, I'm going to poke from the back, poking it in, it will actually stop. That's good. And then you can obviously sew it up. I'm going to sew probably until right here. That will give me enough space to open this up, put some of the fluff in, and then close it. Sewing is basically just going down, pull, going up, pull, down, pull, just like that. Up, down, up, down. Now, if you know your own way of sewing, that's perfectly fine too. You can do it however you want. Whenever you reach a stopping point, you're going to take the thread, you'll have to cut it, and then tie it. And you can tie this however you want. I just do it the same way of making an X, pulling it through, double X, pull it through. All right, so I've gotten to the very end, except I left a little bit of space where I can put in the polyfill. Fill this up kind of like a balloon, but instead of air, we're going to put the polyfill. So let me open this up a little bit. All you basically do is reach in, grab a good hunk of whatever you need. Looks like cloud. And then you're going to take little pieces and start gently taking them and stuffing your pillow if you decide to make one. If you did not make one, obviously you don't have to do this step, but this is fun for those who did. And I'm keeping my needle kind of poking through. That way, you know, as soon as I'm done, I can just go ahead and sew it up and finish. But if you want to tie it for filling, that's fine too. I'm trying not to overfill this because even though the felt is pretty strong, our sewing is not. I showed you a basic sew. You can learn more advanced sewing on your own or when you go to middle school. All right, yeah, so I think I'm going to add a little bit more, and then I'm going to tie it up, knot it, and I will be done. All right, so it's all filled up. Now I'm going to do the fun part of pinching it and sewing it all closed up. So once you're done, obviously you just cut it. I would give it a really, really good tie once you're all done so that nothing falls out. It looks like it still needs a little bit more. Make sure those pieces are connected. Some people want to re-sew their sides all the way around. You can add another line of sewing if you so choose. This is your project. But now I am all done. So I am going to cut this, tie it, and I will be finished. You can take this home today. I probably want to take a photo of it before you go. I have one more thing for those who are not sewing. So if you finish sewing or you're deciding not to sew today, which is totally fine, just return your needle for the last time in here. Return your thread so it doesn't get lost. Keep your pillow in a safe place. Try not to throw these. They're very fragile still. And then there's one more thing that I want everyone to try. So this is what I'm asking y'all to do. Y'all are in art club. We are going to try out the Severe Weather Awareness Week poster contest. I'm going to give you some pieces of paper on the middle table, but basically you are drawing something that could win. Here's the rules. Draw, paint, or digitally create a poster about the kinds of severe weather that may affect Plano or actions you would take to prepare for severe weather. So it could be a tornado. You know, there's no volcanoes in Plano, so don't do volcanoes. Obviously, that's not weather. We also don't receive a whole lot of hurricanes, so think about actual weather conditions that it could be an intense thunderstorm, anything. This is something that you guys are going to have to submit on your own, but you can take this little sheet home if you so choose. There's nothing on the back, but I'm going to show you some of the entries from years prior. Now, this is something I expect art club members to do. Part of being an art club is meaning that you're going to have to try out at least one competition. This is the one competition that I want you to try. Now, if you take this home and decide that, you know, I'm not really feeling this contest, that's fine. But in this classroom, while you're here, I do want you to try to make an entry, even if you don't plan on turning it in. So here's one that says, be an instructor, not a conductor. So basically, stay safe during thunderstorms. If you're outside near metal or poles, you're more likely to get zapped by lightning. Here's another strong entry. It says, when tornadoes are around, the sirens will sound and find lower ground. So, you know, people, if you see a tornado or something, they need to start hiding, going into a bathroom where they're going to be safe or something. So your poster could be about tornadoes. Obviously, we experienced those. This one was done in marker, but you can choose any media that you would like. I have watercolor paint if you'd like to do that. Colored pencils, crayon, marker, whatever you need. I need you to create an entry. Yours could also be informational. So if you're not really interested in drawing, you could have a little bit more writing. This one says, when the power goes out, don't freak out. Be storm smart, and then gave some things that you should look for during that kind of storm. Here's one about driving slow in the snow, so that's something that could happen in Plano. This one says, don't be a snail, get out of the hail. So obviously protect yourself from hail, that could actually hurt someone. Think about things that could really happen. Obviously, an earthquake is not a severe weather because that's not included in weather, and it also really doesn't happen in Plano. So think about things that we could actually prevent or be preventative for. So remember, if you're not sewing, you are working on this. We are all working on the Severe Weather Awareness Week poster contest, even if you don't plan on turning it in. So until snack time, I should see you working on this. Yes, yes? Okay, have fun, guys.